Meeting basic needs is a key strategy for the United Way of Northwest Vermont. When we talk about basic needs, we mean housing, food, and transportation. A place to live, food on the table, and a means to get around are all essential needs for children to learn, families to get and keep employment, and for our entire community to thrive. During the pandemic, many of our neighbors found themselves needing community-based resources for the first time in their lives. We are seeing a large number of folks who are unsheltered right now, larger number of unsheltered than we've seen in many years. We believe that this is due to a lack of consistent in-person mental health and substance use supports during the pandemic.
Housing of course is for many it's really unaffordable, and with inflation it's really difficult.
Sometimes most basic needs can derail great employees. So, the example of transportation, that's something that many employers talk about. But what I've come to learn, and many of us will talk about this at United Way, is that we see the opposite of scarcity not being abundance, but the opposite of scarcity is connection, like that idea of that's where the opportunity is, that's where the relationships are, and that's where the strengths are.
The overwhelming thread is lack of connection and lack of supports, informal supports.
I did not speak English at all, so I had to learn English. It was a struggle to understand what was going on. Every system in the United States is different, whether it is healthcare or educational or any system is intricate.
Thinking about outreaching to people and supporting them with identifying housing, it's also important that we look at the impacts of trauma that they've experienced because of this isolation.
Often building out that resource can lead to other types of resources, and resources can be built upon, right? And that's how we can support our community members being able to, to kind of work toward their own goals.
And what we're trying to do here is fund a network of service providers that are there to lift people up, catch people, promote moving people through to stability. But it can't just be about shelters and food shelves. Food shelves and shelters alone are not going to solve housing and food insecurity. It's going to take widespread system change to make it so that people can meet their basic needs without having to rely on the whims of philanthropy. Together, united,
we can create a Northwest Vermont where
everyone has access to basic needs like food, housing, and transportation.
Join us.
Give, advocate, and volunteer
in your community.